do something about Hitler, a musical about Hitler. And then like all the people seeing it think, oh, it's amazing, it's so ironical, it's so, oh, it's something new, and they all love it, and then it succeeds, and they have fails in making it a flop. So it's in a way it reminds me of that, because you kind of put it there for...
Well, that's, I guess, the thing about it is the whole questioning therefore becomes an artistic expression, right? The questioning of what is artistic expression is, in a sense, an artistic expression. So, for example, with the urinal, the fact that the urinal is so interesting and still talked about is because it was an initial questioning of what is art. That was the whole purpose of it. And therefore it stands alone as a unique piece of art. But it's just a urinal. I mean, this one's much nicer actually.
I quite like the white ones.
Yeah, this is bigger, you know, size matters with
Yeah,
these
but
days.
don't you feel a bit sort of intimidated not having your own space, like when you pee?
Yeah,
Like
sometimes it depends.
Actually.
Oh, it's true.
But you know Leicester Square?
Well, it's intriguing. I mean, like,
Well, yeah.
but how do you privy to that? Like, so
We always got private rooms all the time.
exactly.
Yeah.
Although there's some club somewhere where because apparently girls always go to the loo together, so they can keep talking. So they made double loos with two loos in a room.
Oh, really?
Oh,
So you sit next to
yeah.
each other.
Yeah, I haven't been in one, but it must be cool.
You should try.
A good one, a good loo at Sarnanet is when you go in Marshall restaurant and you go to the loo, you sit and there's a TV on the floor and there's a movie and the sound of the movie playing.
Really?
Yeah, and it was there and it was like Pulp Fiction playing.
Can you bring my beer down?
Yeah, you don't want to leave the loo. It's so interesting.
Where was that?
In Montreal, in Canada.
And was it a gallery or was
No,
it
it's a restaurant.
Wow, that's really cool.
The proper restaurant.
It reminded me of, I'm from Frankfurt, and there's the Museum for Modern Art in Frankfurt. They had an exhibition in the toilet, I don't know, like 9 years ago or something, and it was really strange because you went in and you could use the toilet, and it was really dark, and then you had this video projection of someone running over the grass and music wafting, but it was really strange because you were enclosed in the space, and it was a real experience, like, because it was every day, like it wasn't you were sort of removed from the gallery space where you were looking at the art on the walls and wonderful, and you were doing something very mundane, going to the loo, and at the same time you had like all your senses were different because it was dark instead of light, you heard music, you saw things, all these things that you don't associate with going to the loo, and that's why it was quite powerful. So
I think very good to do something on toilets because you have own time and you can think about own stuff. So it's very nice to show the toilet.
Yeah, there's a space away from...
No queue for the shop. No one leaves. Long queue.
That's interesting. I was talking about the whole art in toilets thing with my boyfriend and said, yeah, but truly you have the toilet. That's where you think? That's really that's where probably most art is sort of conceived.
It's one of the places, the toilet, that you can go and think and relax and cut yourself from the world. You go to the loo and you cut completely. You shut the door and you're alone by yourself. You're never alone anymore. You're just running all the time. It's like a great time.
And one hopes that that's the only place, probably apart from today, where there's no CCTV. We're like living in this big brother society.
Sure?
Well, now I know I'm hard one to say, but it's very difficult to like. You don't really think about it. But sometimes I have this moment where I'm standing at the bus stop and I'm thinking, hang on, I'm sure I'm being filmed. Because of course, like.
I think you're filmed
500 times a day?
Well, 80 times just from Heathrow Airport to the centre of London. You're filmed 80 times.
Wow.
Or you?
It's about, I think, 500 to 700 times a day that you're on the CCTV.
Yeah, that's,
And if you think about that, I mean, that's today is already half over, so you've probably been on 250 CCTV cameras just going to the shops.
I think that's much more popular than Madonna.
She's probably on much less.
Yeah. I'm not getting paid. Why?
That's an interesting thing also about the issue of art is media and how much is it all the time in your face, visuals and things and stuff. And some of the media we see, which is just advertising, is bigger and brighter.
Oh yes, of course, and there's got much more money behind it. It doesn't have to go through the arts council.
And what is its message? Its message is, buy this, you need this thing that you don't really need.
Yeah.
And so where does art come in?
In a way, you would want for art to make a quiet space rather than to compete with that loudness and the brashness of the world. And that's, I don't know, do you know art that makes a quiet space?
I think there are quite, yeah.
Because creator wanted people to look at it, not concentrate on their work. So I think in a way they want to present with a quiet space, so they can concentrate and think about it.
So maybe that's what galleries are as well.
Yeah.
Because they're like.
But there's also in the sense we talked about this before, but art that happens in the streets, art that happens because people just are instinctively creative creatures, human beings are, and instinctively also communicative.
Yeah.
And the conversation we use with just verbalizing gestures is often not enough. We want to make a bigger statement. Sometimes it doesn't even matter who sees it, when they see it, or how they see it. It's just getting the idea out there. And graffiti and things like that, and some of the people who write poetry on the sides of walls and even in the toilets. I used to love, in England they wiped them off too quickly, but I used to just love reading, when I was in Lou, reading the walls. And a lot of it was, call so-and-so for a blowjob at this man. But a lot of it was quite interesting as well.
No, but it is really interesting, and it's sort of like a movement against that commercial society as well, because you have sort of the underground and there's all these groups that know each other and they kind of greet each other, and it's a bit like leaving your marks or dogs.
Like gangs of
but
kids,
but it's really interesting, and also when you said about communication, I remember that in Germany I was driving down the road at night and there was something white sort of on the road. Oh God, what was that? And I drove back, I drove over it again slowly, and it said, "I love you, Sylvia." And you were like, oh, it's really nice. And kind of finding like these new, kind of completely unexpected places of putting something like that.
Obviously that message had a specific person to communicate to,
but everybody else sort of felt touched who saw it. That was like,
very interesting.
But I think it's really interesting to think about toilets and art, actually.
But
It's
there's
a really good combination.
You guys were talking about the toilets, so I was thinking about, I don't know if any of you are fans of Frank Zappa. I don't know,
Oh, the poster of him on the...
Yeah, I think it was an album cover as well. Maybe it's just a poster.
I only know.
On the toilet. And what is he challenging? He challenged so many different ideas and concepts and things. But the toilet being a space where you do stinky, messy things you don't want anyone else to know about, and when you're done you go back out and you have your nice shirt and you look clean.
And it's all flushed away.
Yeah, and you powdered your nose or whatever. But the toilet being a space where actually, and the idea of the toilet being a creative space rather than a space of defecation is quite interesting, I think, to turn it around and make it, look at this. Frank Zappa, I'm making a statement. What is he making a statement of? My music is shit, or I don't know.
I don't know if it's about his music that much. I think it's more like about society and kind of...
I'm so
I'm not
ambitious I can make a
conforming
poster
to-
of myself taking crap.
Exactly. I don't know, but... I don't know, I think it's sort of challenging, like, conventions of how you expect like a singer to present themselves, and and it's also because it's something really private. It's something